Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Edgerunners HQ and Night City Sofa, our talk show about the TTRPG Cyberpunk RED by our Talsorian Games. You can find Edgerunners HQ on Twitch, YouTube, Blue Sky, and Patreon. I am Jess, here with my buddy Games, and if you're new to the channel or the show, please feel free to post comments or ask questions, and we will do our best to answer things. Now, while Night City Sofa is often lighthearted, Cyberpunk RED does take place in dark future, so there are some mature, possibly disturbing or uncomfortable aspects in the world that may appear during the shows we discuss. We will give warnings ahead of time where we can. Tonight, we are going to start our in-depth look into the missions of Cyberpunk RED's complete street-level campaign, Tales of the Red, Hope Reborn. If you want an overview that includes playing the campaign, the introductory story of Hope, which is really great and a wonderful read, you should go and check it out. The new rules that are at the end of the book. All that video with all that content is already on YouTube in the Night City Sofa playlist, so you can go and check that out. It is also player friendly, so even if you don't want spoilers, that one is completely safe to watch. Now, before we get into the first couple missions, there are a few things I want to go over. This is also safe for players to watch, so especially if you're unfamiliar with the world of Cyberpunk and are using this book as your first campaign, and it was written to be an initial campaign for players if you're just starting out. I would feather this one in with other ones, with other things, but it was written with the intention of if you were new to Cyberpunk, you could take this with a bunch of brand new characters from start to finish. So just in case you do, the first thing, there are some things I think you should know going into this before you pick up the book. First is that the Forlorn Hope is a popular bar and hangout for edgerunners. It's been around since 2011, grew to popularity in 2020. It is not the Afterlife. It is a completely different bar. It is a great bar.
It's just as famous and important as the Afterlife, but not as, famous among non-runners.
Correct.
It's not as ritzy.
Yeah. The other thing, this is kind of really important to the first mission. I just want to let you know, if you aren't aware of what a brain dance is, we're going to talk about brain dances, or their slang, BDs. A brain dance or a BD is a piece of technology that allows a user to record and or play back someone's experience, including their physical sensations, emotions, and thoughts. So while watching a BD, it feels like you're in a different place, experiencing what the recorded person experienced.
Yeah.
It's a great way to escape reality. It can become highly addictive. And as you can probably imagine, in the world of the dark future, not only are there entertainment, therapeutic, and other types of, I'm going to say normal in quotes, BDs, they're also illegal BDs, or brain dances, called extreme BDs, or more often known as XBDs. And there's going to be a very slight, sorry, did you want to say something?
No, go ahead.
Okay, slight trigger warning for dark topics. I'm not going to go in depth. Some of these topics have trigger words, so just what an XBD can include, so just please keep that in mind. I'll be over it in 20 seconds. XBDs can feature gruesome and bizarre scenes, including violence, torture, rape, murder, from the perspective of either the victim or the aggressor, and there is a market for both.
Both are super popular. And I want to say that, the concept of XBD, I understand, these are the illegal, the X-rated ones, I get that distinction, but I feel like the intrusiveness of a BD as a whole, already, to me, morally, feels like the whole concept should not be okay. I know it is in the dark future, but, the living someone else's experience and, experiencing what they do just feels so icky.
That's interesting. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, too. I believe in Night City 2045, XBDs also include where safety limits have been turned off.
Yeah.
As well. So it might not even just be the content, it might be the experience you're getting is beyond what is safe to consume.
Well, and they'll also have drug use and overdose and unaliving,
yep.
That are popular BDs so that you can experience those things without having to experience those things, and with the safety parameters turned off, you can experience them. But Sorry.
Not great.
Just,
Yeah. No, I was going to say that's interesting considering your character in Cyberpunk has an XBD recorder that you did not remove. And we're considering using, I don't think you actually have, whether you forgot or chose not to, as a rocker boy, recording your concert so they could experience the concert from your character's perspective, what it is like on stage performing to a mass of people.
I recorded my entire tour but didn't release it. But, like, that's a me versus my character thing. My character is okay with that. Me as a person, I'm like, this is icky.
I think there are things that would be, like, personally, we're going to go into a moral path here. It's not what this is intended, so I'll try to keep this...
I apologize.
I'll try to keep this on track closely. I think it depends on what you're trying to experience. You know? I think it would be interesting just to be on stage, to experience what it's like to be on stage when you have an entire crowd shouting at you, because apparently it's like a wall of sound that I am never going to experience, because I'm never going to be on a stage with that many people. If I didn't have access to, like, because, okay, I'm from Canada, in case you guys didn't know, just as Canadian. I have friends or family, up until, like, recent years, who live in Texas. They never experienced snow. There are people who live, well, like I said, not for, like, the past couple of years, they've definitely gotten snow. But if you're in South America and you don't have the money to travel to experience snow and playing in snow, I think that's really cool. Like, that is a neat experience you can have, and I think there are wonderful ways you could use this BD that are obviously never going to be used because it's capitalism heavy, and that's not what's going to make money.
And we'll get back on topic in just a second. I promise. But see, those are more open-ended, like, VR-style experiences, which I'd be fine with. But that's not particularly what BDs do. You're reliving something that has happened, which doesn't give you, the viewer, control, like, full control over the situation.
That is true.
That bothers. That's the part that I run into. Like, if it was an open-world, like, VR kind of thing, like, oh, this is what a snowman is, or, like, I would love to know what it's like to, like, be pregnant and carry a child. I'm a dude and can never do that. So that would be neat. But if I'm living somebody else's experience, that's where
you get their feelings of what it's like to carry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, back on topic. Sorry.
Interesting. No, that's good. So there you go. More quandaries on BDs. Should they exist? Yes, no. So yeah, XBDs they're illegal. That's what it stands for. This will come relevant very, very soon. So from here on out, the video is for ideally game masters only, or players who've already gone through the missions. Spoilers are incoming. If you're playing this in single player mode, that's fine, because generally you know where the story is headed anyway. But if you are planning on playing it, or you may play it, lurk with the sound off.
Yeah.
But thank you for watching, because it helps the algorithm. So in this video, we're going to look at the first two missions, the Angel Share and Real Estate Rumble. I will say, I think every single one of the missions in this entire campaign has an element, as at least one element that I really enjoy and would love to see in more games and campaigns and missions. So first, the Angel Share. This one is written by Eddie Webb. We've seen him write multiple things. It's estimated to take 4 to 6 hours of playtime, meaning it can usually be completed in 1 or 2 sessions, depending on how long your sessions go, depending on how much your characters dawdle. Now at the beginning of each mission, you get a table of contents that gives you, a nice, breakdown of what's in the mission, followed by a visual beat chart that outlines the mission completely. As written in the playing the campaign section, missions always start with a table of various rumors your players can pick up during the hook, or if you happen to have media in your campaign, give it to them as part of their role ability, right? Because every week they're supposed to passively pick up on rumors. These are the types of rumors they passively pick up on.
Here.
Right there, written for you. Some of these rumors do link to other gigs, so they can be a great way to transition from one of those missions into the campaign. So keep that in mind if this isn't where you're starting from.
Yeah.
Then you get a background that the GM gets to relay to the players, some backstory that's GM eyes only, and then the rest of the story explains what to expect before delving into setting, opposition, and then the details of each cliffhanger development. So for the Angel's Share, the background is Marianne Freeman, who is the co-owner, bartender, and manager of the Forlorn Hope, and den mother to many a young edge runner needs a favor. Currently, a small-time dealer named Blank has been leaning on Marianne to let him sell XBDs in the Forlorn Hope, and Marianne has a very strong no XBDs rule. In response to his leaning, Marianne kicks Blank out of the bar whenever she sees him, but she's now concerned that some of her staff or adopted kids might feel Blank's wrath and wants the crew to put him out of business. She does state he's not worth the bullet, so just make sure that he can't do this work
Take care of
anymore.
the problem, not the person.
Yes. And also, she's not worried about him coming into the bar and causing a problem because nobody would be that stupid. They can handle themselves, but when staff or their kids are outside, that's what she's worried about. Now, unfortunately, Marianne doesn't know that Blank has been selling XBDs to the Red Chrome Legion. The Red Chrome Legion is a neo-fascist hate gang who will be drawn to events by the end of the mission. And worse, no one other than the GM knows, and the GM shouldn't give this away at all. Like, this doesn't come into play until, like,
it's
the end. But Ripper, a member of Maelstrom, will be setting fire to the Forlorn Hope, burning it to the ground by the end of this specific mission, the Angel's Share.
Which, feelings, but yeah.
Okay. What are your feelings? Or do you want to wait until we get to that part of the book?
I'm going to wait until we get to that part.
Of the mission.
But,
okay.
Yeah.
So, most of these, there's always, a block for the GM master to read. This is like the tone, the atmosphere. There's info boxes with DVs. If your players want to roll, you can give them information, right? Things they can know.
Yeah.
Now, personally, once they get to the Forlorn Hope, I would let your players get a table, enjoy the music. There is a live band. It's also a good place to pick up on rumors from the rumor table. If you don't have a media, just listening in the bar. That's what kind of bar does. If people have lip reading, they can pick up on rumors.
Great time to use it.
Yeah. It's not going to be hard. Don't make it a difficult DV, but maybe it's a skill that doesn't get used very often, so let it have, kind of a moment to shine. Otherwise...
Well, and it kind of encourages this, like, make them wait around. Like, I realize it's necessary for the hook, but it kind of says in the book, like, as soon as they show up, have them be told, like, hey, the boss will be with you in a minute, find a seat. So, like, let them linger in that. Let them soak into the environment so that, the bar becomes a living, breathing world. So.
Yes. It does kind of gloss over quickly, like you are supposed to sit and wait, and then while you're waiting something happens, but I agree with
this
games.
happens.
Yeah, I agree with games. Let them sit, let them wait, let them look around. Detail Grace Steele and her bandmates that are on the band. Talk about this atmosphere. Let them have a question to get to know each other. Also, Valence is a server at the Forlorn Hope. They will make an appearance later on, so have them make their first appearance here. This is not in the book. This is just Jess's tips, I guess.
You can, anyway, do it.
Yeah, have them serve drinks to the crew. Have them chat with the crew. Get to know them a little bit. Leave a small impression, at the very least, so they remember who Valence is later.
If you want to throw a reoccurring NPC in here, this is a great place to introduce a character like that.
Yep.
That they don't feel like a throwaway thing, but they feel like something that, like, oh, this is a Chekhov's gun. This will come back up later. Like, this is a good moment to introduce those small foreshadowing. So
let it breathe. Don't.
Yeah.
Personally, don't rush.
Yeah.
Now, when you feel like enough time has passed or there is a lull somewhere in the conversation, go to the next development, which is when a group of, and I'm going to quote this from the book, the group will be approached by 3 punks whose appearance screams, and I quote, "baby edge runners with bad attitudes and more gumption than sense." Which I think is just a wonderful sentence. So thank you, Eddie. Thank you for that sentence.
Yeah.
Now, this group of baby punks want the crew's table, and they're telling the crew to get lost, like move to a different table.
That's the entire event. Is like, hey, we want to sit here.
Move.
Yeah.
Now, you also will notice that Petra, who is the bouncer of the Forlorn Hope, is already kicking out another member of this crew.
Same baby punk group.
Yeah. And it's up to your crew to decide how to handle the situations. Now, the book does give you a variety of options. Just a reminder, though, if your group is maybe coming from a typical setting, high fantasy setting where fighting is always the answer, this is not the answer in the Forlorn Hope. There's actually no guns allowed. And you will be reminded of this.
Kind of. You're allowed to have your guns. You're not allowed to draw your guns.
That's true. You're not allowed to fire them. Yeah.
Yeah. But like when the way it's written, when I was reading it, because I ignored the sidebar where it explains all of this because I was reading the story and then I read the sidebar. But it gives you these great examples of like you can do a face down, or you can do, you know, a skill check for a conversation like a persuasion. You can do blah blah blah, a fashion, a wardrobe style to like, hey, we're cooler than you. Take a hike.
Yeah.
Like there's all these great solutions, but it doesn't discuss combat at all. And then it moves on with other stuff. But then there's a sidebar that's like, oh, so you remember, like, do not pull guns because this is not what's going on. And if your characters do that, all of the patrons around them are going to pull guns. They don't care who's starting trouble. They care that the trouble stops. And so when I'm reading it, I'm like, why aren't they addressing like people trying to end it with combat? Because that's very likely with a lot of RPGers. And then I was like, oh, there's an entire sidebar dedicated to this outcome.
Yeah. And I don't remember if it's in the campaign or not, but I feel like it is, and I don't know why I didn't note it down. But when they enter the bar, I believe Petra tells them, you can have your guns, you're not allowed to draw them. So they meet Petra before they even sit down in the bar. Remind them that they have had this conversation. When you see Petra kick them out, be like, there's a voice that echoes in your head. Don't pull guns.
Yeah, you're welcome to keep your guns. Make sure they stay in their holsters.
If you feel like that's where it may head. Now, the crew might also just be like, yeah, right, and get up and move. Like, they may not care.
Let them, if that's the outcome.
Oh, yeah. If they're like, oh, can we make an impression and let these punks feel like they actually did something and give them a sense of accomplishment? Can we be like, oh, okay, we're sorry? Like, yeah, I would have you make an acting check to see how much they believe it. But you don't even have to say no. You guys could just be like, oh, sorry, we didn't know this was your table, and move.
You know how we talk about like the existence of counter runners and that being a thing? This could be you introducing that counter-running group to your story.
Crew.
Yeah.
This is where it all started. They wanted our table.
Oh no, you've scared us out of this table. Please take it.
Perfect. Once that gets resolved, and it should just be a small thing, but once it's resolved, that's when your players will get to talk to Marianne. She finishes whatever she was doing. You also get to meet her husband, John, aka the Professor. And that's when she will tell the crew about Blank, his XBD business, and that he's been hanging around the Hope. And she wants the crew to find his operation, find his equipment, and smash it. Again, Blank isn't worth, she'll tell them, Blank isn't worth the assassination cost. You're only getting paid 500 ebb. Just put him out of business. And as soon as the job's done, which she doesn't suspect will take very, very long, right? She's like, we'll still be working and cleaning up, so as soon as you've, like, gone, smashed his equipment, come back here, and I'll pay you.
Yeah.
This shouldn't take more than a few hours.
This is a quick, like, milk run job.
Yeah. Now, given the nature of what an XBD is, your players should have no qualms about shutting Blank's business down. The next bit handles how to get information to find Blank. Now, how the players go about that is completely up to them. The book gives ideas of where they can, and does assign difficulty value, so as a GM, you do not have to come up with that yourself. Library search, criminology are the highest difficulty, but you can find out that Blank does business in Little China. Right. Local expert has an easier DV, especially for medias, who get to use the skill as part of their, like, roll ability. Which was a nice thing to see, you know, that it was like, hey,
they don't get remembered very often.
I don't, yeah. Or I don't get to use my rumors ability very often either.
Right.
as part of like this local expert check. If they succeed, the crew gets to know that blank does business at Chrome Cross. Streetwise or local expert Little China skill check is needed to know that Chrome Cross is the local bar for the Red Chrome Legion.
Yep.
Now, if they talk to the locals in the area or talk to people at the bar, like Gabe said, if you want to introduce an NPC, have that be the NPC that maybe they talk to. They can use social skills like bribery, persuasion, conversation. All of them is DB13, so whichever one they're best at. And they get to inform the crew Blank's becoming one of the local names to go to for XPDs, and he usually deals at the Chrome Cross parking lot. Lately, he's been seen with a bodyguard, so they'll get that information if they talk to people. If there is a fixer in the party with an operator rank of 3 or higher, so if you're just starting out and you chose a fixer, hey, guess what? You get to learn this information automatically by seeing your contacts.
Which is so nice.
Yep. Now, if your players are new to the system and you have a fixer in the party, just tell them that it's an option. Just be like, hey, as a fixer, especially if you have a media, tell them they can do the same thing with the rumors check.
Mm-hmm.
But let them know
you're not the adversary of your players.
Yes.
Sometimes they need help and reminded that they have access to things they may forget.
Exactly. And especially for new players, I always try to like help them on their way of learning, like, this is what you can do. Go forth. Now, if the players are struggling to find out where to go, you can give them a deduction check. Like, if maybe they failed so many skill checks, or maybe they've succeeded, but they're still like, I don't know. Have them roll a deduction check. I like that the book included this. Roll a deduction check. They get a +1 bonus for every positive skill check they made ahead of time. And if they succeed, they just get to know that, blank, if he's hiring bodyguards, he isn't investing in facilities. And one of the rumors that they may have picked up on is that he's squatting in an abandoned warehouse, probably somewhere in Little China. Then they can do a search for what kind of warehouse. They'll find that an old Lingpo import-export warehouse exists between Chrome Cross and the Forlorn Hope, and that's probably where he is.
I love that the story has really good push mechanics built into it. Like the first confrontation with the young punks, the BBs, it says that even if you do nothing, after 3 rounds, Petra comes over because they're done with what they were doing. So, like, it resolves.
Yeah.
Let the players do something if they want to. If not, it's going to resolve. And this, like, let them try to find out the information, but if they don't, give them this out. Like, it builds these push mechanics in to where you don't just let them struggle along for too long.
Yeah, so. They will get the information somehow. Now, if the crew didn't get information about the warehouse, if they were like, oh, he's dealing out of the Chrome Cross, we're going to head straight to Chrome Cross to track him down, that's totally fine. They can do that. You're not going to miss the information on the warehouse. They will get there. Now, remember, they get paid for breaking the equipment. So they need to find his setup. Job. So maybe if they get real excited about taking a blank, remind him that they can take him out. They still need to destroy his equipment. Again, not a problem. The book has covered this. They have covered so many possibilities, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
So when they get to Chrome Cross, if that's where they decided to go, the book covers anywhere between stealth to aggression. If the crew wants to be stealthy and just watch Blank and track him back to the base of operations, that's totally possible. If they want to try to talk to him, they can attempt that as well. If things get hostile, though, he will run. Now, if it turns into a fight and the crew kills Blank, it's okay, because there's information on Blank's agent that will tell them where the warehouse is. Or if they, captured a member of Red Chrome Legion that might have been outside that walked around, or they captured the bodyguard, they are more than happy to share the information that the crew needs because they don't get paid enough for this shit.
Yes, so, they're not attached.
Here's the information. No matter what, no matter how the confrontation at Chrome Cross goes, your players will get the information they need.
Mm-hmm. I would like to say that I would choose to do the stealthy, just watch and tail them back to their place. That's not what I would do.
It's not.
I'd put on a fake mustache and then...
You would try to buy the XPDs. You would pose as a buyer, and then be like, I want something specific. Can we go back to your place and talk? And then you'd probably botch the roll somehow. Or just be shifty as fuck. And it would end up being a fight. That's what would happen. But you would try. It would be some sort of conversation check.
Yeah.
Now, eventually your crew will get to the warehouse. Either by completely bypassing the Chrome Cross, they might not have gone there whatsoever. Or after tailing Blank, or hearing about it at the Chrome Cross. Either way, they will arrive at the warehouse. If they do a bit of scouting, they can learn there are multiple entrances. They will learn that there are people inside. Some entrances will be easy and will allow them to keep stealth. Some will be loud. And your players may just be like, screw it, let's just go in loud. And that's okay too. How the people inside react depends on how the crew enters.
Which is a good way to softly teach them a lesson also.
Yep. Now, depending on what happened at the Chrome Cross, may or may not change what's there. So if you bypassed it, I think Blank is not there at the time, nor is his bodyguard.
Yeah.
But at the very least, there will be the XBD technician, and a number of mooks equal to the number of edge runners. Now, if Blank returned to the headquarters after the visit to the Chrome Cross and is unaware of the crew, he's in there, his bodyguard will be there as well. If, however, you tipped Blank off and he is scared, he is stuffing things in a bag and prepared to run. Either way, once combat begins, if you want to try to talk to Blank here, or I think it even says that, like, as soon as the crew is noticed in the warehouse, combat begins. There is no talking him down.
Right, yeah.
You entered his property, you're gonna fight.
Yeah.
Now, once combat begins, Blank spends one round gathering his equipment before running out whatever exit is most convenient. His bodyguard and his mooks will fight until seriously wounded, so half health, at which point they surrender or they flee because they're not being paid enough to die. And I think this is very important to remember, that not every combat goes till the end.
Yeah, not everyone has to die every time.
Blank is a small-time XBD dealer. He's paid these people not enough to die. They're not that loyal. Like, if his bodyguard was willing to tell you where he was at the Chrome Cross, they're not loyal. So there's only so much they will do. Now, the XBD technician only takes 5 points of damage before he tries to run, so it's even less.
I love that.
Yeah, he is like so fast. Now, if Blank happens to escape, he doesn't have the car. The crew can chase him down. The book suggests rolling an athletics check for every player. Every player rolls an athletics check. The GM rolls for Blank. If one of the players, any player, beat Blank's athletics check, they catch up, take him down.
Right. This doesn't need to be drawn out.
Correct. Now, personally, if the players waited until the end of combat before chasing, like depending on how many turns went by, I would have them make a local expert check to see if they can figure out, if they know the streets well enough to figure out which way Blank went.
Right.
I wouldn't just let him go down.
Yeah. You would add some level of difficulty to it.
Some level of difficulty. You could also use the chase rules from Hot Pursuit, just slightly tailored if you want a more dramatic chase scene. And you might want a more dramatic chase scene. You don't need it in this mission. This is a very
it's your story.
small thing that's going to lead to a very big thing. This isn't like the big climactic thing.
I know this is the climax of this mission,
Section?
but
Yeah.
it's not.
It's not. Now, granted, because this takes 4 to 6 hours, if your players are in that 4-hour mark and this feels like the big ending to this session, sure, give it a chase. Make it big. That's okay. If you're at like maybe
Read the table.
Yeah, if you're halfway mark, I won't worry about it. If Blank manages to escape, he leaves. He doesn't return to Little China.
Nope.
So either way, you've kind of succeeded. It does tell you what happens if, Blank isn't present, either because of the events at Chrome Cross, or himself being at Chrome Cross if the crew came here first. So all of that is kind of covered. Like, no matter which way your players went, The book has you covered.
All wraps
They
up.
will help you move forward. As Game said, it will help you push.
Yeah.
As for the equipment, it can be destroyed with an electronics. And I think I loved one of these things the most, because it was like, it can be destroyed with the Lexac. The players can use melee weapons or simply stomp on them until it's broken. And I think as players, sometimes we worry, we're like, okay, well, what is like the best way? What skills do I have? And it's like, just stomp on
break it.
Just break it. Like,
pick it up, drop it.
If that
You
doesn't
won.
work, drop it from a higher elevation.
Yeah.
Sometimes simple is okay. Now, once the job is done, again, it shouldn't have taken more than a couple, like, in-game real hours. So the crew should head back to the Forlorn Hope to get paid. As they're arriving, they hear an explosion, and by the time they reach the bar, the Forlorn Hope is already in flames and has collapsed in on itself. And I'm going to pause here because this is, I think, judging by facial expression, this is where you're upset about it.
No. Okay. Here's the thing. I get the need for plot moments to push stories and the importance of these things, but I hate moments that feel this hopeless. Like there's nothing you could have done or foreseen to fix this situation. And that's very much what this feels like to me. You have this one minor success that if you're like a new player and you're like, yeah, thank God we did this mission and everything's good, we're going to go back and get paid. This is very much like a no, but you, this is the dark future kind of moment. Trust me, I've been there as a player. But like, I hate that feeling of hopelessness that this particular setup gives you. I know why it's necessary. I just feel like a little finesse would have been great with it. Like,
I like that it's sudden. I like that it's sudden. I like that it's in your face. And I think it's one of those things where I know people are like, I would want more missions here so they develop a home and a connection to this place. But if this is where you just started off and this is your first introduction, you don't really care so much about the place. And it's not so hopeless because the entire next part of it is saving everybody. So you couldn't save a building.
Which is great.
But you get to save the people. And maybe it's because I play a Nomad where home is wherever your family is and it's never a stationary spot. It's the people that are important. So sure, you lost the building. But you can save the people. And the whole rest of the mission is building that building.
Yeah. This is a mission where, like, the outcome is that you may lose this place, but it's for rebuilding it and making it new and everything. And at the end of the day, it's just a bar you hang out at. It's not like it's your home with all of your belongings in it. And this is the end of your first session. That would be messed up.
Right. Yeah, so I don't mind it so much because it's not something that you're super attached to. It is just a building, and you're not completely screwed. Things are still going to happen. You can still save them. So for me, it didn't feel super hopeless. And because we weren't there was nothing we could have done to prevent it. So it kind of reminds me that there is still a living world going on.
This had nothing to do with what you did or didn't do. This was something else.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean, the, like, welcome to the dark future part of it is, like...
Yes.
There's stuff going on you are not part of.
But I feel like if you have chosen this to be your bar and you have been here for, like, 6 months in your campaign, then 100% it can feel very jarring, like you said. Because it's like, well, why didn't we pick up on these rumors? Who did this? Why did we not know about this? Why didn't you give us any heads up? But if this is, like, your first or second time going to this bar where it's just kind of a hangout and it happens, building not so much then, right? Like, you don't feel that pressure of what could we have done? Because it's like, I don't know, you don't know them well enough. You just met them.
Well, and if you know the story of the Forlorn Hope before this and all of that, and the description of the bar when you first go there that the GM reads is like, this is in Old Combat Zone. The building looks like the entire Fourth Corporate War was fought on this property. Like, so, like, the fact that it gets destroyed and then ultimately may rise like a phoenix is a great moment. But, like...
it is one of those things, like a storytelling, a narrative point where it's like, you cannot stop this. This is the thing that is going to happen.
Yeah. And that's the part that I was like, but I know why.
Thank you, Nix. So yeah, so when you get there, it's already collapsed, it's already in flames, or it's collapsing, rather. Grace Steele, the lead singer of the band that the crew watched perform earlier, is outside tending to the wounded. She specifically asked the crew to help the people trapped inside. She says her bandmates and Marianne are still inside. Now, if your players are curious about a specific person they may have connected with earlier, allow them the time to just look around. I wouldn't even make it a perception check. Just say you look around the survivors, you see them, yes, no.
Right. Well, or let it be a thing, like, because you have different things you have to do to help different people. Like, rubble's on this person, lift the rubble off of.
We're not inside yet.
Yeah, I know, but you know what I mean. Like, you can have, like, oh my god, that person's, the NPC that I introduced is trapped inside, and you have to accomplish X to save them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It might be if they want to make a perception roll, if they roll really high, maybe make notable of which NPCs are missing.
Yeah.
Beyond just Marianne and Grace's bandmates. Now, was the cruise inside? There's a lot that is going on in this section. Like, a lot. As a GM, I was like, okay, I'm a little overwhelmed. It's laid out beautifully, but there's
for sure.
a lot that you're going to have to keep up with. So reread this section like a good couple of times before you run it.
So you know all the moving pieces.
Yes. Also, I would take a short break as you tell the crew you run into the building to go save people, and then take a break before it happens, because they don't know what they're encountering yet inside, so that adrenaline, that curiosity will still be there. Or end the session either maybe on their way back to, like, they hear an explosion from the direction of the Forlorn Hope, but they haven't hit this part yet, depending on what your time frame is.
I was going to say the 4 to 6 hour length on this mission, like, I feel like the first part doesn't take that long. It's a couple of hours, you know, depending on what your players do. I know that me and Hades and a few other people can make a 1 hour session last for 8, but in theory, it's like 2 to 3 hours, and I get that. And then, like, make the end of assuming you're doing this over 2 sessions, right? Make the end of the first session be they've beat blank, they're going back triumphant, and the building explodes. That's the hook of the end of that mission.
Yeah.
Or that
you hear the explosion,
story.
You know it's from the
Hope.
And
then pick back up with the chaos outside and then moving in. And that way you're ready as the storyteller for what is about to happen.
Yeah.
You've taken that break and given yourself the time to get ready. Yeah. So
I would say if it is your mid-session break, though, I would let them at least get to the Hope and run inside.
Yeah,
and then
break there.
And then break there, because that also gives your players time to be like, okay, when we get inside, who wants to look for who wants to do... So just give them, like, the free 10 minutes to do their pre-planning out of session. That's not going to so much hinder, because they're still going to try to pre-plan ahead of time, and that's built in. But at least they can have this time as well while you're preparing to kind of discuss, you know, who's important to them, who they want to save, stuff like that. When you're ready to get back to things, there's quite a bit of information just to give the players before initiative and the clock mechanic starts.
Yep, which I love.
Yes. Oh no, it's so good. It's so good. I love so much
the way this is handled
in this section. Like, when the players enter the building, you tell them, they know initially there are 4 options to try and rescue people who are trapped. They are told that there's a lot of smoke. And while I am a believer of adding realism to my games, having, you know, an RNG roll of you didn't notice X, so you can't... No. You just flat out tell them, here are the 4 things. There is a lot of smoke. The building is collapsing.
Let it be a heroic moment. Yeah.
This is you working with your players to accomplish this goal.
Right.
Right? Collaborative storytelling, not competitive.
Yeah.
You tell them someone is trapped under rubble behind the bar. Someone is trapped on the stage as the electronics on it spark and pop, meaning it is, like, not safe to traverse. It sounds like someone is banging on the door of the walk-in freezer, so likely someone is trapped in the walk-in freezer, and shouting is heard from the storeroom. So there are 4 people that need to be rescued.
Yeah.
It's also important to tell them fire is spreading, and it could block access to areas or the exit. They shouldn't let this linger. Now, they may be focused
The
on
longer
people
they're in
first,
there, the worse it gets.
which is fine. They'll learn, like, by round 3, they'll learn why it's a bad idea, so I wouldn't worry about the fire too much.
Yeah.
I also would ignore them now that movement specifics don't matter. It doesn't matter what your move stat is. When you use your move action, you can get anywhere within the bar. And there is a beautiful map that you get to use. So you don't have to go by grid squares. It doesn't matter. If you want to go from the front door to the back room, you do that. That is your move turn. Or the move action of your turn.
Nothing more frustrating than realism getting in the way of storytelling. Because, like, I know there was one time we were in another story that we play. We were in a firefight, and I had to go back to my car to get the guns. It took me 3 rounds to get there. The firefight was over before I was able to go to my car to get my guns.
Yeah.
That was the, realism getting in the way of storytelling. And don't let that happen here. Movement doesn't need to be the hindrance. There's plenty of other problems.
There's so many other problems. There's so many other problems that they need to worry about. Movement should not be one of them. So, and, if you are going to use realism, just say for a fact, just be like, in this instance, guys, in this instance, this might not always exist, but in this moment, your move score does not matter.
Right.
Now, players can tackle this however they want. So now that they know that there's 4 things, they have a map, they can see where those 4 people are, they can see where, maybe fire is located. Give them time to plan on who's going to go where. And until they actually decide, yes, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to go here, and they start making those decisions, you don't start initiative, you don't start a clock, let them plan.
Yeah, give them the moment. Yeah. It's that, like, split second of, like, them planning the heist and all that. Give them that moment until they start acting on those thoughts. That's when you start the clock.
100%.
But before that, let them, because we can't all think, like, off the top of our head. That doesn't mean our character isn't capable of it. That just means us as a human being, we don't live in that world and can't make those choices. But give them a moment to process.
Also, it's a game. It should be fun.
Yeah.
Give them time to think.
Nobody should walk away being like, that was dumb.
Yeah.
Like...
Now, if they're struggling on, like, how to tackle things, just hint them they can divide and conquer or work together. Encourage, like, point out, like, very important, that the building is in bad shape. Things crumble. You do not know how much time you have.
It was barely
GM
structurally
knows.
sound before the bomb.
Yeah. They don't. Now, if the player thinks to ask for information about the best way to tackle, absolutely. Have them roll a tactics skill check. It's written in the book. It's a DV13.
Yep.
However, if your players are super new to Cyberpunk RED and are still getting a handle on the skills, how rolls work, give this to them for free. Right?
Yeah.
If they're kind of struggling, just be like, roll me a tactics check. Everybody roll me a tactics check. Collectively you got over DV13, so this is what will help. Once your players have made their decision and a rough plan, that's when you roll initiative and you start the clock. Your players may also, just as a note, throw caution to the wind and dive right in. They may just be like, oh my god, I'm going to go here, so I'm going to run to this person, and I'm going to run here, and I'm going to go here, and it's like, cool, okay, roll initiative, start the clock. They chose not to plan, that is on them. Yeah. If they want the time to plan, please give it to them. If they don't, hey, power to them. Now, for the entirety of the scene, we get to use a clock mechanic, where something happens at the top of each round, except for turn 10, where it happens at the end. To track, the book suggests writing a number 1 in, like, a big central place for everyone to see, and at the top of the round, you keep adding to the number. And every time the round increases, there is an event that happens if the players have not resolved said event. Yeah. If they have, you get to skip it. I mean, the clock still moves forward, but nothing special happens.
Yeah, you skip the event that occurs.
The book also recommends putting all the NPCs at the bottom of the initiative. One, to make your life easier, which, yes, please do. Also, two, I second this because it makes players feel like they have agency before whatever bad thing is going to happen.
Yeah.
Right? Do not apply penalties based on visibility, despite the building being on fire. That happens with the clock events.
Yeah.
It will occur naturally. You don't have to do it from the start. And personally for me, because so much is happening, especially if the crew decides to divide and conquer, which I feel like a lot of people would do, right? I think that's kind of ingrained on us, that there's multiple people, and we don't know how much time. You're not going to go all four to get one and then group kind of move.
It would kind of depend.
Normally how it works. Like, you might go in groups of two, but I don't feel like a group of 6
if
players
there was like
one-to-one
an NPC that we didn't like that happened to be the person trapped behind the bar, I'd be like, I'm gonna go with you guys to go help the people on stage. But I agree though.
Like, there's 6 of us. I don't think all 6 of us would go one-to-one. Like, chances are you're gonna divide. So if you're doing that as a GM, you're going to have to flip back and forth a lot. Do yourself a favor personally. Have the destruction chart and the obstacle charts as cards on hand separately. Either write them out on cue cards. If you have the PDF, print those things off, cut them out. If you play digitally, have them open in different windows.
Yeah.
Anything to help you kind of see all of it at once. Like, make your own specific Forlorn Hope Destruction GM screen.
Yeah.
It will help your life. So the next section, right, is the development, search, and rescue. Tackling these situations requires some out-of-the-box thinking, especially if your players are the attack-first kind of people. Each obstacle is treated as though it were an NPC, and damage is done based on the character's stat for the skill they use. And this is the section in this book of this mission that I loved and want to see applied elsewhere. I think this is so
because it's
brilliant.
a mechanic that works.
Yeah. Now, it may be important or helpful to tell your players that while the framework for this section is similar to combat, it's more akin to puzzle solving. I personally would also let them know that each obstacle cannot be solved with a single action. It's going to take time or multiple actions to complete their goal.
Cumulative results. Yeah.
It's not going to be skill check, I succeed, it goes away. No.
Right.
It's like combat. You don't get to hit once with whatever weapon and the guy goes down. It's going to take a while. They need to know this. So that they don't get frustrated, right?
Mm-hmm. Set the expectation early.
Yes. Now, to explain, I'm going to show you the spreading fire and the makeshift brawling damage things. So there are spreading fires, obstacles, equal to half the number of edge runners rounded up. So if you have a crew of 4, there's going to be 2 fires. If it's a crew of 5, there's going to be 3.
Yep.
When you attack the fire, right, the attack must succeed a DV9 and must be done with an appropriate weapon. For example, a firearm isn't going to do anything. But
probably not.
Book, states this: a melee weapon or brawling represents removing or destroying the object that is creating the fire. Right. So if it's a bar table, if they're spreading fire here and it's a bar table, using a melee weapon is breaking it down so it doesn't catch fire elsewhere. Brawling could be even stamping it out or grabbing your jacket. However they want to do it, right? That's what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
If the players come up with a clever use of a different skill, say athletics, you're still going to treat it like a brawling attack.
Let them.
Right? The damage done is the stat that the check is used. So for athletics, as long as they beat the DV9, and whatever their dexterity stat is, that is the damage they do to the obstacle.
Yeah.
So as you can see with spreading fire, the DV to hit, this is with melee because, again, range is not going to put out a fire in theory. As whatever skill check they use that you feel would work, and they can reasonably deduce it, they have to beat a DV9. If they succeed, whatever their stat total is, they deal to the 20 hit points that the fire has.
Yeah.
Okay? Which is shown kind of in the... in the makeshift brawling damage, right? If the stat's 4 or under, they deal 1d6. If it's 5 or 6, they deal 2d6, 7 or higher, 3d6 points of damage.
Yeah.
Encourage
like
them
brawling.
to use the skill that they have maybe the best stats in. Now, granted, if it's cool and they're going to try to talk the fire down, probably not going to work.
You never know. I'm gonna wardrobe style this fire.
Yeah, no. Now, when the HP, when the hit points of the spreading fire reaches 0, it's extinguished. Like, that's it. It's off the board. Now, the building is still on fire. Do confirm to them that the building is still on fire. They've
You've taken
just
care
made
of this part.
the area safer. Yes, you've made it that the fire's not going to spread. It's not going to block anything. The building is still collapsing. You did not save it by putting out one fire.
Right.
Also, any penalties from the clock that would have existed before the fire's put out don't get worse. They remain in play, but they don't get worse. So if, I believe at the top, so at the top of every round, fires that still exist gain 1d6 HP, which can go over their 20 hit point total.
Uh-huh.
And if you roll a 6, in addition to getting 6 more hit points, the fires also get to make 3d6 an attack to whoever is closest. Which could be, if you wanted to, the floor and the space next to them, and then you have more spreading fire.
Spreading fire, yeah.
Yeah, so you can add more fire things that your players will have to deal with if they decided to ignore it. Now, there are 3 fire extinguishers in the Forlorn Hope. There's one at the bar, one in the freezer, one beside the stage. If the players clear the obstacles in those locations, they can see it instantly and grab the fire extinguisher without an action. There are stats for these in page 34. Now, that's one ongoing obstacle, are these fires. Other, sorry, I had to snooze the thing.
The ad, yeah.
The ad, yeah. Other obstacles that need to be defeated are where the people are trapped, right?
Each one has a unique thing going on. Yeah.
There are, in the storeroom, there are collapsed girders. If the clock is at 6 or less, the players will find Petra trapped inside. She can't do anything more. She's done all that she can from her side. She cannot get out. So you treat the girders much like you do with the spreading fire. They have their own little block. You're going to deal damage to get its HP to 0. Now, it's not like you're actually destroying it. It's more that you're just shifting it to
metaphorical.
the side. Yes.
Yeah.
It's giving you a numerical number that you can hit, and you can see how it's reducing. Now, if the players tried to shoot or attack the girders with weapons, and maybe they'd been attacking the fire, so they thought it would work the same way, that's fine. You also injure Petra. Every 5 points of damage to the girders sends burning debris onto Petra as it auto-hits, and it's 3d6 damage. Now, she is wearing armor, but maybe don't add to her injuries.
Yeah.
Players can push or move the girders with athletics. Again, you look at your dexterity stat, deal damage, same as you would to the fire. But if they come up with a useful thing, and the book does say, like, basic tech to craft a lever and a fulcrum, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. It's the same as the athletics check, only you use your technique stat, right? Because basic tech is tied to the tech stat, so you use your tech stat to deal damage. What you're really doing is widening a gap.
Yeah, let them shine and be creative. No matter what they do, it will work in the system. Mostly. They're doing damage to the thing. Well, even if somehow, let's say they justify using, persuasion, and you're like, all right, I'm going to allow it, it's still, technically, the math of it works out the same as if they were using anything else.
100%.
I don't know how they would possibly justify that, but if no matter what they choose to use, if it's something that makes sense, the math of it will always work out.
100%.
Yeah.
Now, I would say, because there are people who want to use social skills, if, say, someone who doesn't have necessarily strong dexterity stat, like maybe that was their dump stat, it's a 2, it's a 3, they can't move these girders, but they are with another player who can. If they wanted to use persuasion to bolster that person's attack
ego
and
to
it works,
be able to do it.
at that
Yeah.
point, I would count their skill as doing additional damage. Right?
Right. Or
they
if
can't
somebody
do
was
damage to
using
the
like
girder, but you're
Yeah.
giving them maybe an extra boost so they can do it twice or whatever the case may be.
well, and like charismatic leadership or persuasion, you could like you've convinced bystanders from outside to like help you. This attack is the people that are coming together under your persuasion. You
Yeah.
know, it can if they can make it make sense, let it make sense.
Or if you don't want to do it like where it's like technically two of them, two attacks, bump the one person's attack to the next level.
Yeah.
They have given them essentially a +1 or a +2, whatever it would take to bump it up.
Yeah.
And let them help that way. Don't single someone out just because they do not have an experience where
It's
can
hard
appear.
when you're playing a character that like you're in a situation like I never play combat characters, and whenever we're in combat only situations, I'm like, nothing I can do. Let them find something that they can do.
Exactly. Okay. Now, if things are going too smoothly or too quickly, the book does say that, at the bottom of the round, debris can fall on or around the party, just to make it a little more difficult for them. Like, if they haven't taken any damage, they've cleared some stuff out, be like, no, it's still deadly.
Yeah.
Start another
This
fire.
isn't a walk in the park still.
Now, once the obstacle reaches 0 HP, so say those girders, it reaches 0, they've cleared it. As soon as it's 0, Petra can get out.
Yeah.
Right? Now, for her specifically, she gets this added bonus where she will help fight any remaining fires on her turn. So when you get to the bottom with the NPC turn, that's where she lives. She will help start taking care of these fires. Okay, now... Okay, I already talked about that.
Do you
that's
mean
fine.
to still have the spreading fire and brawling damage on the screen?
Yes.
Okay, just asking.
Now, as for other complications, I'm going to stick with Petra specifically right now. If the clock, if they haven't freed her by round 5, she tells them she can smell gas and believes the line is broken. On turn 6, the top of the round, turn 6, any of the spreading fires still exist, Petra tells them it's too late run. On turn 7, if the fires are still burning, the room explodes. Petra will die. Any player in the area takes 66 damage. Now, if the clock is at 7, the fires are still spreading, the players haven't gone to the storage room yet, they will hear the explosion, they will hear a scream, and they will find Petra's body if they go choose to look.
They've already lost that. Yeah.
They cannot. There are 2 people that will be okay no matter what, I believe, and there are 2 that you can lose.
Yep.
If the clock is 8 or higher, fires still burn, they see the same thing, right? It's just the explosion happened the prior round, no big deal. Again, all of this is on the destruction clock, so you don't need to remember it. Just keep that destruction clock handy.
It's been done for you.
Yes. And I believe that's like if they have put out all the fires, you're okay. You're safe. The gas line won't explode.
It prevents that event.
Yeah. I'm not going to go through the other areas. I just want to point out that the electrical stage does have a net architecture if there's a netrunner in the party. If they don't, that's
Finally,
fine.
they have something to do today.
If they don't worry. There's other options. You don't need a netrunner. But if you do,
You can basic tack.
maybe nudge them towards the stage, which can happen in that tactics check that you had them do at the beginning, or offer them a reminder that when they watched the stage performance earlier, remember when you gave them all that time to sit and enjoy the bar? They, were watching the performance, they noticed the lights were moving, but they don't recall seeing an actual, operator, so there must be an architecture somewhere.
Yeah, a demon controlling the lights or something.
Exactly. So if, a player can shine in certain moments, try to nudge them in those directions.
Right.
Also, as a personal note, if your players really want to try and save everyone, right, so that this isn't going to leave a bad taste in their mouth, they would like to do their best, leave Marianne for last. She has plot armor. She exits building with her. Valence, who is the server, is trapped in the walk-in freezer. Also, will get out on their
Completely
own.
fine, no matter
You're
what.
good.
Yeah.
The ones that can die without aid are Edelweiss and Petra. And you can
Yep.
stress, especially if they, played their tactics earlier, that the stage and the girders should be the highest priority.
as it seems most precarious in the moment.
And that whoever's trapped there cannot get out without outside assistance. And, the fire should also be taken out. Now, if your players go for
Ideally.
Marianne first, which is fair because she's the one paying them, have Marianne tell them that she's going to get her husband John. She's not leaving without him. There is a path up the back way. She will be fine. So if there are others who haven't been saved, go and help them first. Have Marianne specifically say, don't worry about me. Get everybody else.
I am not first priority.
Yeah.
Maybe go help Petra.
Yes. Now, if your players completely avoid the fires, turn 2 should inform them why that's a bad idea, because at the top of the round, all spreading fires that haven't been defeated gain, 1d6 HP. They will see the fires get bigger. It's not metagaming. Metagaming, they will know that the fires got more hit points. And they get to make an attack, right? So, depending on what you rolled. Now, turn 3 is where we get to start to see our penalties. That's when the smoke starts filling the room, so it will apply a -1 penalty to all checks. Mains of Hope. By turn 8, the penalty is increased to -3, where your anti-smog breathing mask will only reduce it by 1. Now, when it is at a -1, your filters or your mask, you're solid, you don't take the penalty.
Negate it. Yeah.
Yeah, by turn 8, you still take a penalty. It is still that bad. So you don't have to add it. The game adds it for you.
Yeah, if you have built-in filters or something, they're starting to clog at this point. There's too much debris in the air.
Now, if the players stop the fires, I think the penalties might get lessened, or they don't exist from the extra smoke damage.
I think they disappear at that point.
Yeah, or if it was at a -1 and then they prevented it, it just stays at a -1. It does not get worse.
Right.
And then of course,
and personally, for me, if they were at the 3 and they put the fires out, it would drop to a -1 static.
Oh, that's nice of
instead
you.
of staying at a 3.
I would say it stays at 3.
I'm a
because
nice guy.
The smoke lingers. It doesn't just go away.
Just wave it out.
No. Now, if the players free Petra, obviously, she doesn't scream for help. She doesn't notice the gas smelling. You can ignore all that. She's good. She's out. And then the players can leave the Hope at any time. This can be because they've saved everyone, or maybe the dice just said, fuck you, and they have failed every skill check, and it is turn 8, the thing exploded, they don't know what's going on. They can just leave.
They just flip the table. Yeah.
They can just leave. Sometimes that happens. Or maybe the clock ran out. At the end of turn 10, the Forlorn Hope collapses. Anyone still in the building dies instantly, as concrete falls on top of them. Now, this includes the players. There is no death save. You die. You have tons of concrete falling on you. You're out.
It is game over.
Yeah. Now, as a GM, enforce the collapsing destruction of the building at the top of every single round, right? Have the walls crack. Have rubble fall. Collapse sections that may not be in use. Anything to reinforce that this building isn't going to stand.
If you need to, and you're at round 7 or 8, have a piece of a higher level fall directly in front of a player and destroy something. Let them know how heavy and how real this threat is.
Yeah. Now, by the end of round 9, all NPCs have escaped or died, per the destruction clock. So there is absolutely nothing keeping your players inside this building other than their own choices. If your players insist on staying inside, I personally would make their deaths a heroic moment that will leave an impression on all the members of the Hope, even if it's not immediate. And we'll get to that in a moment.
They're trying to pry into the walk-in closet with all of their strength up until the last second, and blah, 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 blah. Make it meaningful that they died.
Yeah. Even if it's for dumb reasons, even if it's because they wanted to loot something, give them that moment, that final glorious moment before moving on. Now, once the Hope has crumbled and everyone's outside and they think they have that moment of relief, they don't, because the Chrome Cross, who has heard this explosion and is not happy with Marianne, has decided to use this to their benefit, and now it's a fight. Now there is a firefight in the streets. A pickup truck comes by, It's going to drop off as many Legionnaires as there are edge runners.
Mm-hmm.
And then, that is the next situation that they have. So if you're starting a new session, this might be a good time for a break after you've introduced this immediate threat. Honestly, personally, I probably wouldn't even break. I would just keep the adrenaline going.
Oh, yeah. Because it's insult on injury on injury on insult.
Yep. The NPCs from the Forlorn Hope move at the end of the turn, group them all together. They are just trying to get to their exit. There was an exit on the map. They use their move, they use their action to run, so they are just going to keep going. Once they are off the map, technically your combat is over. Your players can leave. If your players want to keep fighting, they can. Now the truck, there's the driver and a passenger. They pull in firing, they drop off the people, and then they peel out. So they're only in it for like maybe at most 2 turns. Otherwise, it's going to be a fairly even edge runners versus RCL. The book does have, I think Petra, and if not Petra, I think it's Grace, who will use suppressive fire on the Red Crone Legion. Yeah, Grace and Petra died. Using suppressive fire, any Legionnaire that gets too close to the group that's trying to run away. Yeah. So all your crew needs to do is stop, and Marianne asks, just keep them off us. All they need to do is let the survivors.
You don't have to worry about the survivors. You have to just worry about giving them an escape.
Yeah, you do not have to help. However, it does say if there is a medtech in your crew that really wants to help John, because John is struggling, you can move with John and the survivors.
Right.
And do good things. But essentially, you fight the Legionnaires while the survivors run. That is your sole goal. The Legionnaires will attack whoever's closest. So as long as you are in between the Legionnaires and the survivors, you're solid.
You're doing your job.
Once the survivors are gone, you can run. Once that battle is over, however it ends, whether you've killed however many showed up, if you deltaed, whatever, when it's over, you kind of finally get that moment to breathe. You can RP with the surviving members from the Hope. The book does give different dialogue options depending on how many people you saved, depending on what happened afterwards. Because it has been super action-packed up to this moment, let them have their RP moment. Don't end it. I hate when that happens, when after a game it's like you've done all this combat and it's like, okay, next session we're here and we're going to advance time, and it's like, I would like that breathing moment of, hey, are you okay, in that RP time.
Well, and the big difference between our game and a real game at a real table is that our games, we kind of need to end it on hooks and things like that to keep the story moving forward. In a real game, I feel like you should always give your players time to be their character, to tell their story.
Yeah.
So
I don't think our game does it, but I would like more downtime after battle and not just, all right, battle's over, that's where we end. It's like, let us have that.
And good night.
Yeah, let's have the 20 minutes to have this conversation. Jeez. But yeah, let them get rewarded for the work. Let them have relationships with these NPCs that they're going to get to know down the line, hopefully. And also, this is where I would commemorate any player's character that may have died when the code collapsed. This is the moment
going to say
that exists.
Yeah.
Maybe Marianne talks about how unfortunate it is that you lost someone, especially if you saved all of theirs. Your crew lost someone. So that's where you kind of memorialize them. You can't do it maybe when the Hope collapsed, but you can do it here. It's not too long after.
Yeah.
And eventually Marianne will pay the
you can create a really meaningful and powerful scene that way, too.
Yes.
So
that's not going to be rushed.
Yeah.
And that's why we do it here.
Yeah.
And that's when Marianne pays the crew, says she'll call with another job soon. And when that kind of RP is over and you guys are ready to go your separate way because you live wherever your crew lives, then it's on to downtime. And the book does recommend at least a week to heal from any injuries if you got injured, restock, repair, also just live your lives. And if a week isn't enough, give them another week. It's fine. If they want to have moments with the NPCs, if they want to help NPCs from their background, or do these extra bits from their role abilities, or maybe you have, puzzle solving people that want to look into who attacked the Hope and who started this and was it RCL, and because it seemed inconvenient. Like, let them have those moments. And when downtime is over, Marianne will call the crew, and you're going to move on to the next section, which is Real Estate Rumble, which we'll talk about in a minute. And of course, at the end of all this blurb, there are all the stat blocks that you'll need for absolutely anything in this
all
mission.
the people and stuff like that.
All your enemies, all your obstacles, everything. I do want to say one last thing, because I'm going to forget if I wait till the end. Turning obstacles into effectively NPCs and having it be a multi-success, like a multiple
cumulative score things.
Process, I think needs to be in more games. I think that was a brilliant way to handle it. I think environmental difficulties are forgotten a lot in favor of combat. And this is a very easy way to assign numerical values, treat it like combat that's not, and have the environment being a legit obstacle. And I love it so much. It might be one of my most favorite things out of this entire book.
Yeah. It'll definitely make the top 3 by the end of when we get to the end of the last one.
So even if you don't play this campaign, there's a lot of information as a GM like that I think you can take and use elsewhere.
Yeah.
And that will conclude the Angel Share. So if you have any questions, please comment, please post them. If there's something that occurred to you during your playthrough that was unexpected, that you needed to overcome, let us know that as well. It'd be very
we'd love to
interesting
hear
see
about
what happened. Thank you guys for sticking through this with us.
Yeah.
Then until next week. For now.